Hi everyone. So the day that this video comes out is a very special day because it is the day that my debut novel is now published and released. And to celebrate that, I want to share a very special moment with you and also talk a little bit about the journey that I've had to go through to get to this point because it's been difficult but worth it. And it kind of it speaks to the experience of working towards a dream. And so what I want to share with you is the very first time I get to see my novel, okay? I've just received the print version of my book in the mail. I'm getting a bit emotional because this is something I've worked so hard on for 12 years straight, okay? Because it was 12 years ago that I decided I wanted to be a novelist. That was my goal. And before then, for my whole life, I've always wanted to create stories, and I express those stories in artwork I created. I thought I might want to make cartoon shows, comic books I kind of settled on with the artwork and the story. But as I grew older and kind of matured, I realized the best way for me to realize the stories I wanted to create was in writing. And that was in 2007, and so I decided I wanted to be a novelist. The problem is, I wasn't any good at it. So I needed to learn how to do it. And that's what that's what I guess the 9 to 10 years, 9 years actually, from that point. It took 9 years to learn how to do it right. And I wrote the equivalent of about 9 novels. And most of them weren't any good, except this last one wasn't bad. There was something there that I could work with. But still, it wasn't the one to release, to try and get published. Even though I did submit it and I had some interest in it, the book that I had written still wasn't there. I would want to rewrite it and just improve it. But I was at the point where I was confident now I could write something that deserved to be shared to the world. And so that was this book that I'm now releasing, Chronicles of Everfall, Shadow of the Conqueror. At the time of releasing this video, the ebook and print are now available, so I'll put links in the description. And the audiobook, I don't know at this point of filming. It might be ready if a miracle happens with the ebook and print. If not, it might be a week delay. But the audiobook has been produced, it's in review right now with Audible, and that's going to come out as well, and that is narrated by Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. I know we'll have already shared this with you with the cover reveal and announcement of the publish date when it's coming out. The audiobook versions of these, my favorite books, were narrated. Wheel of Time, Stormlight Archives, narrated by Michael Kramer and with his wife Kate Redding, and they're both amazing. And Mistborn was narrated by Michael Kramer just by himself. And that is who is narrating my novel, okay? That's going to be released on Audible. And I can't express to you how exciting that is. When I heard Michael Kramer, narrating my book, I was squealing. I was squealing like a little girl. So excited. It was amazing. And the audiobook that I've been able to produce with them is just phenomenal. So I'm really excited for that coming out. But right now, the ebook and print is available.
And I just wanted to offer my most heartfelt thanks to everyone who pre-ordered the paperback and ebook. You can download your ebooks now. The paperbacks are being printed and shipped to you, and I am so excited for the story that you're about to read. To everyone who reads my novel and enjoys it, please, it would mean so much to me if you leave a review. On Amazon, Goodreads, and any place that you can leave a review, it would mean the world. Thank you so much.
One of the dreams of any aspiring writer is to be able to hold the book that you made in your own hands, and I haven't done that yet. I've received it in the mail. It's right here, okay? And this is it. This is the first time, so I want to share this moment with you, okay? And then talk a little bit about what it's taken to get here. So, gosh, a bit more nervous than you might realize, okay? But I'm not pausing for dramatic effect here, okay? I'm trying to just absorb what this really is happening, what this means, okay? Because this is the culmination of a 12-year dream. So I guess I just don't want it to go too fast, but... Like, it doesn't feel like it's mine. I mean, my whole life you've held books, you've read books and everything like that, and holding my novel, see, that sounds weird to me, to think that this is my novel. This is I made this. Like, oh my goodness, it looks so good. Gonna come in close. Let it focus in on there. Did you see that there? Like, oh, let's go to a chapter beginning, because do you see how good this looks? Do you see how good that looks? Right there. The chapter heading. And I have to keep telling myself that this is my book. Like, every time I'm like, oh yeah, it's a novel, and you always think that someone wrote that somewhere, and to think that someone was me is it hasn't hit me. I don't know. Will it ever hit me? Gosh, but open this and see my work, my writing. Like, I have stared at these words for hundreds of hours, okay? Scoured over every single sentence. And gosh, gee, the paper feels good on the insides. But it is available, this right here, Chronicles of Everfall, Shadow the Conqueror, my novel. It's available. Links in the description below to get a print. Don't want to put it down. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about working towards a dream, okay? Because, as I said, this is something that I have looked towards and hoped to achieve for 12 years, and now it's finally here. I'm here and I'm holding my own novel, which still doesn't sound right in my own ears. The simplest way you can really say is that you just don't give up. I mean, this wasn't the first book I wrote. Remember that, okay? I have written the equivalent of 9 other books. Some I didn't complete, but they were certainly the length of a novel by the time I had to give up on them because my writing ability was improving and what I had written was a mess, all right? But as to ones that were fully completed, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 that were fully completed, all right? And I had to realize along the process, trying to get better, when I looked upon that, they weren't good enough. See, part of trying to obtain success is also having the ability to create something that is worthwhile, that other people will also appreciate, okay? One of the big weaknesses that I find self-published authors fall into is that they publish too soon. They put their work out too soon, and it's not up to standard, okay? Now, there's no such thing as a perfect novel. I've really discovered that. And I've actually heard, quotes from published authors that say once their book is published, they don't read it. They don't even look at it, because any author will be able to open their book and just even on the first page find a sentence and say, that could have been worded just that little bit more concise, tweak it that just a little bit to improve and everything like that. And that's what I knew with this book. I could have spent the rest of my life tweaking and trying to refine every single thing, and it never would have gotten out. And so it wasn't a matter of trying to reach perfection. And I'm a perfectionist, so this was hard for me to try and actually accept and acknowledge. I reached a point where instead of being satisfied with or going for perfection, I had to be satisfied with it being good enough. Thing is, getting the ability to be able to judge objectively if what you have is good enough has been a very difficult thing for me over the years. But I have been able to do it. That's why I have 7 or so completed novels that aren't published, because I'm able to look back on them and say, no, they weren't ready. Now, instead of me just like, I'm so happy with it, I want you to see it, I want to see it, but it's kind of awkward me just holding it up constantly. It's time that put my novel, on the on position of my bookshelf. So as much as I love The Hedge Knight, okay, which is one of my favourite graphic novels, that honoured position now goes to my own book. Right there. That's where I put the file. I've been looking for this. You get to prop up The Hedge Knight? I love this book. I have several copies of it because I've got The Final Empire. That's The Final Empire. There, so I'll put that back where it belongs. I'm going to say something kind of obvious here, but for those people who have a dream, something that you want to achieve in life, you really need to understand this properly if you're going to achieve it, because there are a lot of people who have really big dreams, yet never achieve anything because they don't kind of understand this very important thing. And it's simply this. If you have a dream, you need to work towards it. You need to constantly be doing something that is getting you one step, even a fraction closer to that dream every single day. Now, for me, I needed this. This is something that gives me a lot of value, ambition, enthusiasm in life if I'm working towards something of value. In the times of my life where I'd fallen into a state in life where I couldn't work towards my dream, working on my novel, okay, that would send me into depression. And like full-blown, like fully, darkness all around you, depression where life is a misery. And for me, it was when I fell into a job. I needed a job, and I ended up working for the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, and it was a good job, had good pay and everything, met my qualifications and stuff, but it was so mentally draining that I couldn't work on my book. There was nothing left in me, and that sent me into depression, because previous to that, I would go to work an hour early and just write, okay? Because this is the thing, if you have a goal, you need to work towards it. And people say, you don't have time and things like that. What do you do? Everything is working against you. I didn't have a lot of time, but I made time to be able to do it. And I got up earlier, went to work an hour early, worked on my novel. But this new job, I couldn't do that. You weren't allowed to rock up early, okay? There was all these you had to have security passes to get in the building and all that stuff. I do fully acknowledge there are situations where you can't work towards it. But then do you let yourself stay in that position? I fell into depression, okay? This was not good for me. Something had to change. And the change was I needed to work on it. And so I went to, the person who was in charge of human resources, and I asked to be put onto part-time. I took a pay cut, went on to part-time, went into a job position that most people thought that was horrible and no one wanted to work there, in the mailroom, okay? And it was phenomenal. It was actually so much of a better job, getting paid less, all right? But moving on to part-time, you know what I did with those 2 extra working days that I got out of that? Well, it was to help out with my wife because her health was going down. But in those days that she didn't need assistance and she was mostly okay, I went to the local library. And you know what I did? I wrote. And it was at the local library that I started typing the words to the novel that you can now read if you like, which is now available, Shadow of the Conqueror. It was in that time that it all started. For that book specifically, I had finished my previous book not when I was working at ASIC, but the previous one when I was going an hour early to work. I finished a book there. And so if you have a dream and you're not working towards it and you truly want to achieve it, now for me, this was so important that not achieving this goal was life-shattering. It sent me into depression. This is how important it has been for me in my whole life. Why is it so important? I don't know. It's something that fulfills me, okay? It's what I've always wanted to do. I didn't have YouTube at that time either, by the way, and YouTube is hugely fulfilling. And so YouTube really, is one of the most satisfying, incredible things ever, and that probably would have sustained me in dark times, even if I wasn't able to work on the book. But with YouTube, I am able to work on my writing with some additional help like my editor. Love you, mate. And the hard reality is simply this. If you have a dream and you're not working towards it, you don't deserve to achieve it, okay? Good things like this, like the big dreams and goals in life, look, they don't come for free. People might say, win the lottery, okay? Those are the exceptions. Don't consider yourself the exception. Don't think you're anything special in this regard. You need to approach it with the mindset that this is going to take as much work as anything else that's worth achieving in life. And so I mean this when I say that I had this goal, the point where I am right now in my mind every day, okay? Like a bull seeing red, the target ahead, the end to the finish line, not knowing how long the race would be. That was the goal, and no matter what, I was going to keep moving towards it. There was a time in my life where I made a decision, and it was simply this. If I spent my entire life working towards this dream, never having achieved it, okay, and I die, I still would have lived a happier and more fulfilling life than if I lived a life in a better job that made heaps of money that was stopping me from working towards my goal.
I need to clarify this because what I just said is actually really important, and I said this very thing when I was leaving a job to pursue my dream of being an author. And it's if I needed to live in poverty my entire life to work towards my dream, because to do so I had to work less and therefore I was earning less money, and me, my wife, and our children, we were scraping by. We were very poor, but even living in poverty so I could work towards my dream, if I spent my entire life doing this and then I died, I still would have lived a happier, more fulfilling life if I had been wealthy, but not working towards what I want to achieve in life.
And so I was fully prepared. Okay, I'll be a pauper for my whole life. I'm going to work towards this goal. I don't care how long it's going to take. I don't care if I don't achieve it. But the fact that I'm working towards it, that's what was important. And the mere fact of working towards this dream gave me satisfaction and fulfillment, even if I didn't achieve it. But now I'm here, and I have, and one of the reasons why is because of that decision. No matter how long it takes, okay? If I said, all right, I'm going to work on it for 3 years, and if I reach 3 years and haven't achieved it, I'll give up. I would have had to have given up. What if I said 6 years, okay? How long is long enough? Well, now I'm here, and it's been 12 years. But I have to tell you, when you get to this point, and you reach the goal, the dream that you've been working towards, it is one of the most amazing feelings you'll ever have. It is incredible. And you know what? It's not over yet. You think this is my only dream? I have castles to build. And if you think I'm not going to achieve it, wait and see. I think that subject deserves a whole video on just sharing with you my future plans in regards to castles and stuff. But I also have a lot of other books that I want to write. Okay, that's on the ticket as well. So I want to share this with you guys. Everyone who's watching this, okay, don't give up on your dream. All right, it's worth it, and you can achieve it, but you need to work towards it smart. All right. Look at how you're doing. Continually try and improve. If you're working and you're not there yet and you're failing at it, what are you doing that's stopping you from getting there? For me, improving my writing. I just need to get better at writing. I needed to build a fan base. That's one of the reasons why I started YouTube in the first place, as well as, sharing correct information about swords, weapons, castles, and all that fun stuff. There are more opportunities in our day and age right now, in this time, okay? Where you're sitting right now, there are more opportunities to achieve the dreams that you want than at any other point in history. And so no matter what those dreams are, and I was going to say if they are reasonable, but I don't like saying someone's goal isn't reasonable, because who am I to say, and who is anyone to say, okay? I want to build castles. I want to be a novelist. And there have been people along the way who didn't think I would be able to do it, who thought I was making a horrible mistake. Well, I've been able to prove them wrong. And so what dreams are too big? Things that break laws of physics and outside the realms of possibility. You want to be Superman? Maybe there's roundabout ways you can kind of achieve that, like to play Superman in a movie. I don't know, whatever it is. But so much is possible. Don't give up on it. And thank you for letting me just share this moment with you guys as well. So my novel, once again, it is out today. Ebook, print, and I hope the audiobook. But if not, the audiobook is really close, okay? So pay attention to when that's out. Thank you guys. Just want to share that with you. And I'll see you in the next video.